These are the stories of the police and the district attorneys who represent the people in the criminal justice system. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Law & Order SVU episodes.
Can you tell us why you decided to work in the adult film business?
I needed money for college tuition, and what I did was legal and regulated.
So despite how it may appear on screen, you were never actually forced to do anything against your will.
For this list, we're looking at episodes of this crime drama TV series that made us cry, cringe, and/or completely forget we were watching television. We're only focusing on Special Victims Unit here. Also, please note there will be spoilers ahead.
In the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories.
Number 10. Behave. Law & Order has always attempted to take real-life cases and convert them into compelling episodes, but sometimes they break the fourth wall and address the public.
Thank you so much for watching this episode tonight. In the course of my time on SVU, I've learned so much about the difficult facts of sexual violence in the United States. 1 in 4 women experience sexual assault in their lifetime.
The season 12 episode Behave revolved around backlogged rape kits. After the episode, Mariska Hargitay, also known as Detective Olivia Benson, and her co-stars took a few minutes to discuss this issue with viewers. Her plea to national law enforcement and criminal justice systems is heartbreakingly sincere, and it left many sitting in stunned silence.
Not testing a rape kit often represents a lost opportunity for justice. In the United States, the Department of Justice, members of Congress, and academics have estimated that hundreds of thousands of rape kits sit untested in police and crime lab storage facilities.
When it comes to the episode itself, Behave is bursting with sincerity and urgency even after all this time, and it left an indelible impression on those who watched it.
And because the sample was stored in California, the people can't prove the chain of custody was preserved. Therefore, I have no choice but to rule the DNA insufficient to corroborate Miss Sayers' identification of Mr. Harris.
Number 9. Raw. Things tend to go from bad to worse for Detectives Benson and Stabler.
Which building?
All of them. People were shooting from all different directions.
So there was more than one shooter?
No, just one. He must have been somewhere on the playground.
When they investigate a school shooting that killed one and injured several others, they discover that one of the victims is being molested. After the abuser is apprehended, detectives Munch and Tutuola stumble upon an underground neo-Nazi ring.
I don't recognize the authority of the puppets of the Zionist-occupied government. Kyle, we have rights. You call your daddy on your cell phone, tell him that I am being taken to political prison.
However, the story doesn't stop there. This episode highlighted the issues of white supremacy and domestic terrorism, and both began and ended with examples of outrageous violence. The final courtroom scene is punctuated by a sudden shooting, proving that no one is safe.
We all have to make sacrifices.
Gang violence and hate crimes are a pervasive problem, and they affect everyone, innocent or guilty. By perfectly visualizing this message, Raw is a brutally unforgettable episode. Number 8. Zebras. In the Law & Order universe, things aren't always what they seem.
It's alive.
And innocent.
Maybe we are looking for a zebra.
This was certainly the case for the season 10 finale, which led viewers on a wild and occasionally hilarious ride to uncover the truth and find a murderer. This quirky episode tackled conspiracy theorists in the form of Munch's ex-wife and had one of the most surprising twist endings of any Law & Order episode. Sometimes the greatest enemies are the ones that call themselves our friends, as Detective Stabler discovers.
You tried to kill Judge Donnelly. You gassed Zimmer.
Killed O'Halloran too. And now, you.
The beauty of this reveal is that it's sewn into the fabric of the entire episode, warranting several rewatches.
How'd you know?
Stucky said you wanted to get sushi. You and raw fish?
Number 7. Nocturne. This season 1 episode addresses one of the most complex issues facing victims of rape or sexual molestation, the cycle of abuse.
Not now. Not again.
That's not a different kid.
It's the same person.
Growing up.
While many episodes of SVU tackle troublesome topics, Nocturne does so in a heart-wrenching, stomach-plummeting way that audiences are rooting for the prodigious victim of a child molester.
Holt's got a nice piano.
Yeah, I guess this is a price to pay for everything, huh?
For him, too. That's why we need you to tell us who these kids are.
Well, it's my teacher. I mean, he cares about me a lot. He even bought me a coat one year.
That is, of course, until it's revealed that the victim is not as innocent as he first appears. The cycle of abuse is a very real thing, but it's often ignored. By shining a light on the subject, SVU actively helps victims of abuse from repeating the cycle, which is an amazing feat. Equally, Nocturne on its own is an amazing episode.
Yeah, and you were the one who was telling Evan that everything was going to be okay.
It is okay if he's the victim, not the abuser.
He's both.
Number 6. Venom. When the child of a police officer commits a crime, it can be tricky to draw a line between professional and personal responsibilities.
We're trying to get the charges vacated. Ellie and Olivia are talking to Ken now. There's nothing you can do.
Get out of my way.
You're not going in there.
That's my son in there, Captain. Why don't you call me?
Because he didn't want us to. He's over 18 and he's in a lot of trouble. You plan on making it worse?
So when Sergeant Tutuola's son becomes a suspect in a homicide case, the entire SVU team is floored. And while it seems like Finn's nephew Darius, played by Ludacris, is the one to blame, Ken's cousin threatens to claim nepotism if Finn's son isn't charged.
You damn right it's about the family. Every last one of you is gonna have to be in that courtroom. You're gonna have to testify. Your lives out in the open for everyone to judge. Same way y'all been doing to me since day one. They gonna know what kind of cop you are and what kind of husband and father you weren't.
It's easy to assume that the family members of police officers, detectives, and investigators are immune to crime. But this episode helps prove that that idea is just ludicrous.
Finn, he didn't do this, so make him cooperate.
Come on, prisons are filled with innocent people, and we both know what color most of them are.
So you don't trust the people you work with?
I don't trust the system. Not completely.
Number 5. Pixies. Several episodes of Law & Order SVU are based on true stories, and Pixies focuses on the very real pressure young gymnasts endure while working towards Olympic gold.
Squeeze your legs together. Again! You want to be champion, you must accept nothing less than perfection.
My ankle!
Pain is the price of glory.
And while it's easy to blame adults, especially those that have creepy intentions, it's sometimes better to look a little deeper.
Do you know a guy named Kyle Hubert? You know him?
He'd always staring at us.
You ever give you presents?
Sometimes, like a new outfit or a gym bag. Or this one time he gave me body lotion. He told me to think of him when I used it.
Children training to take part in an Olympic sport are encouraged to be competitive, sometimes to a fault. But this SVU episode does a brilliant job of exposing why that's not necessarily a great thing to instill in young athletes, showing that some competitors may be willing to kill for their chance at a moment in the spotlight. Number 4. Charisma. Cults can ruin lives, and not just the lives of willing adults. Often, cults focus on children as a means of continuing their teachings and keeping adults from leaving.
Are you willing to prove your obedience? Because the time will come and you will be tested. When the soldiers of Satan come for you, when they demand your allegiance and threaten to murder you and your children and destroy all we have.
In Charisma, one particularly slimy cult leader marries and impregnates a 12-year-old girl named Melanie. As awful as that sounds, it actually gets worse when the doctor reveals something to Detective Benson.
She say who the father is?
No, this isn't the first time she's been pregnant. Scarring suggests she's delivered before.
You find her parents?
Refuses to tell us where they are. Only says her first name is Melanie, and she's 12 and a half years old.
This heartbreaking episode reveals how cult leaders can take over the lives of seemingly well-to-do people, brainwashing them into acting irrationally. It's difficult to watch despite its powerful message. Even Detective Benson struggles to handle her feelings after this case.
This was an extremely traumatic event, Liv. The grief that you're feeling is completely natural.
I know that.
Number 3. Conscience. Many people assume that sociopaths are made and not born, but sometimes this just isn't the case. According to Dr. Wong, sociopathy is a personality disorder and it's not readily treatable.
If the boy is mentally ill, we'll send him to a hospital.
Sociopathy is a personality disorder. A lot of shrinks believe there's no cure.
What do you believe?
You can't grow a conscience.
This episode explores the psyche of Jake O'Hara, a 13-year-old murderer without a conscience. He murders out of boredom and brags about it, 2 characteristics of sociopaths. He is likely to kill again, prompting the victim's father to take action.
I knew the guy was wound too tight. Should have seen it coming.
You didn't know Morton would shoot him? We all thought Jake was a victim.
While the death of any child is a tragedy, this episode explores the death of a child sociopath, which is a pretty complex topic. Number 2, mean. Bullying is a serious issue that affects the lives of millions of young people every day.
Paige Summerby, Brittany O'Malley, Andrea Kent. These are Detectives Benson and Stabler.
When vicious online gossip turns violent, the police are required to get involved. This episode premiered in 2004, and unfortunately, its theme and message are still terrifyingly relevant. As the initial prime suspect in this episode reveals, fake friends can ruin your life.
In 7th grade, Emily got a fake screen name and pretended to be a boy I liked. Emailed me. The next day I talked to him and he didn't know what the hell I was saying. He pushed me into the mud. Emily and her friends thought it was hilarious.
It's crucial to know who your friends really are. Some might be good-hearted folks who are just looking out for your best interests, but a few might be plotting against you in a major way, like a certain teenage murderer in this episode.
Brittany went crazy! She just lost it. It was awful. She started punching Emily, and then she lit some cigarettes, and she started burning her with them. And she had these little scissors.
Considering the show's been on since 1999, we had a lot to choose from for this list. But I tend to enjoy the episodes that teach lessons to viewers that might come in handy, and number 1 definitely falls into that category. So, after these honorable mentions, we'll find out our pick for the top Law & Order SVU episode.
Stop moving or he's dead!
And then what? Do you really think that you're gonna walk out of here? Because that's not gonna happen. Now this is your choice, dead or alive.
I go, he goes.
Victor, tell us where Rebecca is and we can end this right now.
Honey, I'd like a mineral water, no ice.
And I'd like your balls in a blender, but ain't life a bitch.
Radios don't have civil rights.
Right, and parolees don't have rights either.
Look for a problem.
What's the problem, punk? Get back to your room, McAvoy, now.
But in my own defense, I must say I am just pooped. Oh my, look at the time. You must be too.
Merritt Rook.
How can I help you? You don't look sick. When is it a crime to play hooky, detective? Cough me now, guilty.
We'll get to that soon enough. May we come in?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, 911. It's only fitting that the number 1 spot goes to one of SVU's most intense episodes, 911. From the very moment it begins until the last few seconds, 911 is a heart-pounding, nail-biting adrenaline ride. And it all begins with a simple phone call.
Police operator 3529, where's your emergency?
Hello?
Where are you calling from? Hello? Are you in Harlem?
I'm in a room.
What's wrong, sweetheart?
I can't get out. I'm hungry.
Little Maria is kidnapped, but she struggles to describe her surroundings, and the detectives can't trace her call to a reliable location. Benson is devastated she can't find the girl.
This is the police. We know exactly where you are.
No, you don't.
This episode prompted parents everywhere to teach their children what to do if they're ever kidnapped, like things that could help law enforcement find them. It also reinforces how important CPR is. And those are some fantastic lessons.
She's not breathing. Okay. Stay with me. Come on, Maria.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.